Okay. Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are live again with another amazing session for you. And today we have with us very amazing and talented speaker. So let's start with the introduction, coolest introduction ever. So good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Hackora, recent and latest edition uh, of its amazing series. So, Hackora was never about just hacking, it's about learning directly from the best minds in tech. Today, we are thrilled to have Riza Fareen, developer advocate at Orchis, with us. Riza is someone who has not only championed developer advocacy but also driven large scale technical documentation initiatives as lead information engineer at Mitsugo. Her topic today is Technical Writing 101, a skill that every developer, engineer, and innovator should master because great ideas deserves great clarity. Let's give a warm hack or a welcome to Riza. So the stage is all yours, Riza.
Okay, so thank you and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today. And I'm Riza Fareen, as I introduced, working as a developer advocate at Orcas. And today I'll be like taking you through technical writing 101. So I think, yeah, we can begin, right?
Yes, we can go.
Okay. So we'll cover the fundamentals of technical writing, like the different types of documentation and how the writing can impact developer experience. So most importantly, it will be similar to the practical steps and insights which you can like apply into your future if you are like planning to go with a career like technical writing or maybe marketing writing or whatever be it. So I'll be focusing more on the technical writing aspects. So maybe, yeah, we can begin a quick introduction about myself. So I've been in the tech industry for almost 7+ years right now, working across developer relations, like most recently, and technical writing. So previously, I was a lead information engineer at Mitsogo, where I built the documentation there, strategies at scale, and I also contributed to Baildung, like one of the leading technical based platform as an author there, writing articles based on like product Orcus Conductor. And today at Orcus, I focus on helping developers to build their product successfully by building stronger documentation, the tutorials, and advocating different programs. So maybe I'll just give a quick walkthrough on my journey. So initially I began in 2018 as we were called as technical research associates those time. So actually we were entitled with a job to do research on our competitor products, to get ideas, and also to basically to like form the basics or fundamentals of the product or product revamp, we can call. From there we were named into product evangelist, where we were involved in testing out the products and like doing the documentation. And then over the course of 2 years, I was in the position of the product evangelist and senior product evangelist, looking over the technical documentation, the API documentation, the release notes, the product content. So when it comes to like product, the technical content, there is a lot of things that comes in between, right from the writing documentation to different forms. And in 2021, I became a lead in information engineer at a company called Mitsogo, and leading a technical documentation team. And from since 2022, I am working as a developer advocate come technical writer at Orcas, combining like both writing, advocacy, and hands-on work with the developer platform. So each role, basically everything is dealing with the technical content, gave me like new experiences, new technology to study, and like so every day you'll be like studying something and growing yourself. So even now you will be focusing more on AI stuff. So AI has been introduced. We have a lot of things based on AI. So even our product is having AI. So you need to do research and study about AI, the terms, the terminologies, the how it works, the different LLMs models. So basically, being in this field means you are constantly updating your knowledge every day by exploring different products, different languages, different technologies. So yeah, let's begin with the core principles. So first one is the clarity. So your goal is to make the reader's life, the person who's reading your content, easier. So that the language you are writing should be simple, clear, and precise. So there are different types of writing. If it is marketing writing, we need to do in a marketing perspective to capture the market audience. But when it comes to technical writing, we are writing either for the person who's, even if it is a SaaS product, the steps would be simple. But if it is a developer product, it would be like for the developers you are writing. So the clarity should be there, straightforward. The language should be straightforward. For example, instead of saying something like instantiate an object, you can just simply say create the object, because that is more straightforward and familiar for the end users, who will be mostly like the IT admins or the developers, or who will be dealing with the technology. We need not talk to them in a marketing language. We need to talk them in their language, which is a technical language. The second one is the structure. So that is, we need to organize the content logically into headings using list and visuals. So let's say you get two documents. One is like simply paragraphs and paragraphs saying stories. One is like beautifully organized with proper heading, that is H1, the H2, the proper point, like proper pointers are there, the bullet points are there, the numbered list are there, and the visuals are there, the visual guides are there. So which one will you go for reading, which is visually pleasing? Obviously the second one. So that is the importance of structure in writing. So a well structured is not only giving the visual pleasing for the audience, but also it will help in like the Google or the search engine to crawl and take in our content. So that is the importance of the structure. And the next one is the audience. So you should always write with the reader in mind. And like ask yourself, who are we writing this for? Okay, it's for developers, so we should write in a developer friendly language. Or who are we writing for? It is for the IT admin. So okay, so we know what is the level of knowledge this person has, so we should be dealing in such a way that the audience should be kept in mind always. And then it is a consistency, so it is about trust. So you should use the same terminology, it should be consistent across the doc. So you call it API key in first page, you call it token in the second page, it is not making any sense. So it is like you need to have that consistency where anybody reading anything should be able to understand what you have written. So these are just main four principles. Without these, even the best technology can feel incomplete. So that is about the core principles, and then we can go into different types of guides. So these are like some major things. So technical writing isn't like one size fit for all. It's like you write something and it is the same thing you write in different guides. So it's not that case. For example, if we take care of a developer product, we have developer guides, API references, SDK guides, tutorials, and each is serving like a unique purpose. For example, let's take the case of developer guides. So it is kind of walk through real scenarios and the end to end things of how to use that feature. For example, if it is something kind of API authentication, right from the point of what this authentication is doing within the product, how can you get the keys, how can you configure this, after configuring what happens. So this is what a developer guide should contain. That is right from the beginning, on what it is, how to get it, where to get it, how to configure it, and how to do it, or like if it is like a particular company's product, how to combine into that particular product. So it should be like covering the end to end. That is what is what we call the developer guides. And then we have the API reference. So it is like a detailed doc about every parameters, methods, the responses we get when the API calls are done. It is kind of dictionaries, like where the developers come back to referring, okay, what is the input payload, what are the expected output payload, what is the response you get in examples, how can I send this, how can I use it, how can I integrate into other client SDK. So that is a kind of API reference. And then the SDK guides, it shows how to use the client libraries. For example, if it is a Python based, it will be showing how you can use that product's Python SDK to like integrate into the applications. Then we have the tutorial, which is a step-by-step instructions, which is great for like onboarding new developers. So the best documentation will be a combination of all these, covering all feature aspects of that particular product. Now we'll look into writing for developers. So the tutorials is something like developers love, right? You love to see the sample codes, you love to see the outcome, you love to see the steps, but only when they're practical and it is working. So good tutorial or good when you're writing for developers, you should focus on the real world problems that the developers face. You should take a problem that they are facing, write a tutorial on it, connect it with your product. So example, if you're providing technical writing service for a particular company, you need to take developers problem if it is a developer product, or if it is like a other DevOps based product. So whatever who be the target audience, we should take the real world problem that they face, that what your target audience face, and then connect your writing with it and provide the solution of what you are going to achieve with this product. Then the keep steps short, actionable, and sequential. So this is, as I mentioned, if you have like a 20-page tutorial for configuring a small thing. On the other hand, if you have a 2-page with relevant steps, which is well organized with enough screenshots and videos, you will go for the second one, right? So that is why you need to keep the steps short, but everything should be there, and it should be sequential. For example, something which you need to do at the first step, if you are writing at the step fifth, it is not making any sense. So whenever you are like dealing with a product, the first stage you do is testing the product. So while testing the product, we need to keep a draft on what is to be done first, second, third, fourth, and this will be like this will help in like writing the documentation. Third one is include code snippets that works out of book. So as I mentioned, everybody love to see the example. So if it's a code based product, you need to include the code snippets. Otherwise, you need to show the examples of how it can be done. And then the clear headings and visuals for navigation, which I've mentioned earlier, and then end with expected outcomes or next step. So this is like something like we can say everybody skips this part. They explain everything about the product, but what happens is they will not like show you what the expected output is, or the outcome of this tutorial is. So, okay, the configuration is there, but what happens when this is done within a product? If it is not covered, the document is incomplete. So, that is one of the crucial things. You should end with the expected outcomes of what is the next step. Now, writing in practice. So, how do we actually apply this technical writing in practice? So, first one is you need to set a tone. That is, it should be it is not just about professional, friendly, and consistent, but you need to set like in what language style are you going to write? Are you going to use British English, or are you going to stick with the American English? So what is the audience like? Obviously, you will have a global audience, but what is the majority of the audience you want to target? If you want to target North America, or you want to target Middle East, so whatever be it, so according to that you need to choose a writing tone which should be consistent across all your writings. So there will be different writers within a company, there will be different marketing writers would be there, technical writers should be there. So setting a writing tone is important. When it comes to technical writing, you can keep a separate writing tone for the technical audience. Then second one is follow a style guide. So there are different types of style guides available, like Microsoft Style Guide, the Chicago Writing Manual. So whatever be it, so you need to, for example, I'm currently following Microsoft Style Guide. So it will be having like detailed instructions on what to use, when to use a ordered list, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbered list, when to use an unordered list, so how the headings should be done, everything is there. So if you are setting that, and let's say you have 10 technical writers within a company, everybody is following that, means all the technical documentation will look alike. Second, third one is create a style guide for your company. So even though you're choosing a style guide, there will be certain scenarios where you need to keep your own things. So in that case, what you can do is for general writing, you can refer to a particular or stick with one particular style guide, and for the company you can keep a style guide. For example, if you're writing an API doc, okay, this should be the structure, it should have a heading, it should have the endpoint, it should have a description about what the endpoint is, and it should have the expected input payload, output payload, the examples, what would be the response of the API. So if this is the structure, you can keep it as like a company structure, and every writers must follow that so that all your docs will look unique. And last is like best practice. So it is like about the accessibility, the inclusive language, the clarity. So that is about how you can bring like writing into practice. And next is the document life cycle. So documentation is not just writing once and forgetting. So like the software development also, it is having a life cycle where you begin with the research on topics, where you start to understand the user pain points and questions. So the research can be like different types. So for example, you can use tools like Google Analytics, SEMrush, etc., to understand what your competitors are writing about a particular thing. So you can use these tools to get the insights of, say, your product is A and we have product B and C. So what you can do is you can use this analytics tool to create organic search of what is happening in the Google for ABC products, and you can see, so we are product A, right? So what we can do is we can compare what B and C is ranking in Google, what are people searching and what are people reading. Like they'll also have a lot of pages published, but people are reading, okay, these 10 pages more for the company B, these 10 pages more for the company C. So you can use those things based on for your research and find what the audience are reading from their website, so you can get the topics. That will be the key to get those users to your product. So that is how one research can be done. You can do the research within the company itself, within the employees itself. So these kind of things can be done. So that is the first point. You do the research on the topic and fix the topic. The second one is plan a structure. So once you get a topic, you need to plan the structure. What should be the heading, how it will be divided, what are the different sections that comes in between, where are the screenshots required, or video guide. So you will plan the structure, and then what you do is you test and draft. So the drafting is like the writing the first version with clarity and clarity and completeness, but it won't be perfect. It would be just the initial draft where you test the product, you document the steps. Then what you do is you finalize it, and then the reviews there. Obviously there will be other writers in SME for review and for accuracy and completeness. And once a review, you edit it again, taking into every suggestions and put it into a finalized doc. And then you publish it, the docs. Like there are different types of publishing tools where you can make it available. Those kind of things are also something the technical writers should know about. And then they publish the docs, and then finally it is about maintaining, which is a most ignored step. So publishing a doc is not like completed there. You should maintain it, because outdated docs hurt more than the missing docs, because this is something we always deal with. So for example, if you have an integration doc and you get the integration steps from Perplexity. So I wrote a doc like 3 months ago. We introduced Perplexity integration into our product. So getting the API keys, I wrote a doc, published it. And after a month, when I went back and checked the doc, the steps of getting the API keys from the Perplexity has been updated. So we are giving a backlink to the Perplexity, but in our docs, the steps came outdated. So that is the importance of like maintaining the docs. So you need to keep a regular check based on the product, based on what are the languages coming in. So you need to keep a regular monthly or quarterly check for your documentation, like maintaining your documentation, which is very important when it comes to the document lifecycle. So yeah, so writing is just like it's not about the clarity, but it's about the like visibility and the reach. So there are two terms that you will come across when it comes to writing: the search engine optimization, which is the legacy or the currently thing when it comes to searching via search engines, and then the new generative engine optimization if you want your content to be accessible via models like chat gpt and all. So search engine optimization is kind of, it is having again a lot of things that is coming. So since this session is just one-on-one, I'm not going into detail, but search engine optimization has got certain things where you need to have your page should have a clear slug, the meta description, those kind of things, so that whatever you are writing is like accessible for the search engines like Google. They can crawl your data and make it available when somebody searches for your product, not searches for your product. For example, if it's like building an application, we should ensure that our title, the URLs, the images we use, the files we upload, everything is having the tag building an application, so that when somebody is searching for building an application, Google can suggest a document in the top 10. So when you search for something, you don't go and look into that 25th page for a document, right? You go to the first page, maximum to the second page, and click the links and read it, right? So that is so in order for our document to come to the first two pages, you should do a lot of SEO practices to bring your documentation to the first two pages in Google, so you get enough clicks, and from there you'll get enough customers. And then the generative engine optimization is something new when it came along with all the AI LLM models. So you asked to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is like suggesting something. So if you want the ChatGPT to suggest your product, you need to do certain stuffs to like ensure that your content is accessible for these LLM models. So those are the two things. Again, these are the two main pillars. So there is a lot of to deal with it when it comes to writing. So I'm just giving an overview on what these two are. And then analytics. So this is like, how do you know if your docs are working? So that is through the analytics. So they show how the audience interacts with your document, that which guides are the most read, how much time a user is spending on this particular guide, how many users are there on this guide. And then they show the consumption pattern where the readers are dropping off. There are some links like when they click it first 2 seconds, if they don't get anything, they go back. That is what we call the bounce rate. If your bounce rate is high, you will have like lower traffic. So it shows this consumption pattern we can get, which topics are searched but not found. So like the data is like something gold, so it helps you continuously improve your documentation. But so these analytics help us to know like what is happening within the search engines, and where you can improve, or where you are performing well, where you are not performing well, where how can you improve. So all these things can be done with taking clear analytics. And then the final thing, which is the AI in tech writing. So let's talk about something that's shaping the future of technical writing, which is the AI. So AI won't replace the writers, but it's becoming a powerful co-pilot that can save us like time and improve the quality of our work. So here's how we can use it like effectively. First one is a research assistant. So AI can scan through a large volume of text, it can summarize complex topic, and even pull out key references. So at the beginning of the project, when you need to get up like speed quickly, you can make use of AI for the research, because the for example, an example which I can say is, I used to spend 3 to 4 hours researching on a topic using Google, but now with the help of AI, I can like trim down that to like 30 minutes. My research can be completed in 30 minutes to understand about a topic which is very new for me. And then it is a first draft creation. So instead of starting on a blank page, what we can do, right, is like, if we have a spec documentation of that particular feature, we can ask the AI to generate an outline from that documentation, which the technical writers can use to begin with. So usually for this process, we used to spend hours right now, but with the help of AI, if it is code, you can use tools like Claude, which can like interpret the code very much they can interpret very better. So it's like it can give you the initial draft. So it's about like giving more accuracy, more context about the things or the technology which is not so familiar to the, or maybe about the new technologies. Then it is a consistency and style. We can train the AI with our style guide to enforce tone and technology. So if you see ChatGPT or OpenAI, they we can create different projects. So what you can do is we can train this project in such a way, feeding in like I've spoken about the style guide. So we have a style guide set, so we can feed this into the like LLM model, and then we can give our content and just ask whether to check whether what we have written is like aligning with the guide we are following. So it is like these are all manual things, but these AI can make it easier. And then it is for analysis. AI can analyze the existing documentation, it can highlight the gaps, suggest where more clarity is needed. For example, it can be considered as a companion. So we are remote workers, we don't have people sitting next to our desk, so which AI can be used as like a colleague, where we can ask doubts and things. So it is not about like the AI is going to write your documentation, but it can be a companion which can help with your research, the first draft creation, the consistency and style, and for analysis, and to get recommendation or maybe technical accuracy and those kind of things. And above that, of course, you need the human interaction. So it is just like the technical companion. So AI should be used as a like a companion, but not a replacement. So yeah, I think yeah, that is what I wanted to discuss today, and maybe I can open it up for any Q&A.
Okay, wonderful. And thank you, Riza, for such an insightful session on technical writing. And we do have some of the questions that we would like to cover, and it surely will give more insights to the audience whosoever watches this in future. So, you built a strong career as a technical writer and developer advocate. What inspired you to choose this path, especially, and how did you get started?
Okay, so I started with this in 2018. So maybe I think I usually, when it comes to like while studying in college, they used to be like presentation, the seminars, the project presentation. For that, you need to do a lot of research. Like at that time, the AI models and all were not there. So we use like Google to do the research and come up with the seminar paper, the draft paper, project presentations, etc. So I was more interested in like knowing about new things, like reading a lot, researching a lot, and then finally creating the draft out of it. So that is what we are doing, like the basics of technical writing. So that is what inspired me to begin with this. And then maybe during the campus placement, we get to know about the opportunities it can give. And that's how I began my career, like more than 7 years back.
Wow. So uh, that means college or universities most of the times teaches us a lot, and it plays a crucial role what we do in near future. Wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So next question would be, many students imagine technical writing as just writing manuals. So how would you describe the real scope of this career?
Okay, so so it depends upon the audience. For example, previously I worked on a SaaS product. It's completely SaaS product, which means that the audience is like the IT admins of other company. So for them, it is like writing different types of guides. For example, if it's a technical documentation, it is just straightforward of what the product is, how it can be configured, and what you get out of it. But when it comes to other types of writing, they will be like implementation guides, and those kind of things are different. So there will be things like technical white papers where we take a problem they are like facing, and how a product can be a solution for that. So that is one thing. So but when it comes to like developer products like the one that I work right now, we need to actually advocate a product to the developers in different ways, and obviously technical writing is only one such way. That's why we are called also called as developer advocates. So we have not only the technical writing, but there will be like video interactions, a video guide creation, and it is like another thing. And when it comes to developer products, so we need to take this product to the developers. So there are university students, and the hackathons are running. Yeah, this is also a hackathon like session. So these hackathons, we interact with students, university students, who are the future developers. So we are actually taking our product to these future developers so they can get to know about. So it's like more about interacting with the student community. And apart from the student community, we have active developer community where we interact with our users. So we have like two products, the enterprise and the OSS version. So the open source version is like free for all to use. So we have like a huge open source community where we interact with like a community user. So it's like it's kind of like another interaction. And where since it is a developer product, when it comes to events and things, we need to represent our organization at various events. So it's like interacting with tech people around the world, both like virtually and like in person events. So it's like not only just writing, but it's like advocating the product to different end users, interacting with the community people. Yeah, so it's not just manual writing, but it's more than that.
Yeah, definitely. And as we are talking about community and open source, so we do have an interesting question. You helped grow the Conductor OSS community from 0 to 25,000 developers, as
Mm.
per mentioned on your LinkedIn bio. So, what strategies worked in building that engagement?
Okay, so when it comes to engagements, there are different factors where you work with, because if it is like a Slack community, you need to onboard users to the Slack. So that is one part. And second is like when it comes to a developer product, there will be like things like GitHub stars. So our product is having like almost 29K stars right now, and it was like actually a second product which I worked on. Initially, we worked combined with Netflix, but that was like archived in like 2023, towards the end of 2023, and we started our own fork, and that is from where we took like a product from 0 to 29K. And then it is like we have the discourse community, the Slack community. So combining everything, there are different ways to take it. And as I mentioned, the hackathons, the developer community, the developer conferences, speaking at the conferences, so all these help us to get more and more people to our community. So that is like my we work as a team, and that was my contribution to this project.
Hey, wonderful. So, your main responsibility is to oversee the technical documentation, not majorly on the engagement and building community related to AUKUS.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, looking back, what skills or experience proved most valuable when you transitioned into develop focused writing and advocacy, apart from the seminars and presentations you gave at
um
your university?
one of them, it is like mainly the ability to interact with different peoples. Second one is speaking, the public speaking is important. And then the developer means the that urge to study about new technologies and new things, so that should be there for developer products because it is evolving day by day. So you should have that thing within you, that I can study new products or I can understand new things, because when it comes to writing, we are writing for the developers to understand the product, so we need to understand them first. So you should have that urge to study new languages or study new things. So that is the main thing which will help you like when it comes to a developer focused product.
Okay, wonderful. And as it's mentioned on your profile, you have led community engagement initiatives on Slack, fostering interaction and providing support to community members. So, what kind of community initiatives and engagement you have developed in the community, which really helped making it engaging and more authentic?
Yeah, so first of all, it is like introducing a new guides and features to the community, because as a writers, we are the one who test and write the product. So one is like taking them to the community. The second one is as we test the product, we stay updated about our product. So whenever users come with queries on why this is not working or why this happened, or maybe we can we can't like put in the role of a complete developers, but we can step in to help them like confirm that they have done the correct steps. So that is one thing. When it comes to like interacting with the community, we can help them find out the issues before the actual developer steps in, because we know how to test it and how it works.
Okay, and as we are talking about community and different people and different community leaders have different definition of community. So according to you, how would you like to describe a community? What is a community as per your
I
perspective?
think it is not just joining a community. A community, I can call it as like an active community. If the community is helping within the members to fix the problems, because we can see it. If, for example, if it's an open source product, they will be like everybody will be using the product. So if somebody asks a question, it is not just our employees that step in to help them, but there will be other users who help each other to like resolve the issues. I think when it comes to community, that would be the great success of a community, is like the members itself seeing part of, because open source is driven by the community, right? So it's like members itself seeing them as the owners and stepping in and then helping other fellow members is like something I felt like a great community, or maybe maybe a definition for an active community.
Okay, nice, wonderful perspective. And with this, I would like to ask, what was the biggest challenge you faced in your career and how did you overcome it?
The biggest challenge, maybe, I think, when these AI and LLMs became popular,
Yeah.
we need to study about the terminologies, because all these are new. There were hundreds and thousands of articles within the internet, like coming day by day, and we need to understand and study and things. So I think I I think I took all I or maybe I studied about all these with the help of AI itself. So it was something like a new technology that came in and it helped us learn about new things.
Okay, nice, because adaptability is different, it shows. So we do have
Yeah.
like only two questions left. So I would like to ask, where do you see the role of technical writers and developer advocate evolving in the next 5 years?
Mm, I'm not sure if I'm the right person to say that, but definitely we can say that without proper documentation or proper develop advocacy stuff, product cannot like thrive by itself. So definitely it will have its own place, even if it's 5 or 10 years. But as we say, as we evolve, we can make use of new technologies that come in to step in and like easy make a process easier. For example, when computers were introduced, everyone said that it will take up every job, right? But how what
Yeah,
it made our jobs easier. Even now I'm
yes,
connecting from Dubai and you guys are joining from India and we are talking over just like through a single screen. So similarly to that, whatever be the technology is being introduced, we can adapt to it and make our job easier. That's what I can say.
yeah, yes, technology obviously makes our life easier. And with this, we would like to wrap the session with last question that is related to students. So, for students, what's the best way to get involved in open source or tech communities early in their career? And if you had to give one piece of advice to students trying to stand out in tech industry, what would it be?
I would say like go for developer conferences. Even for students, there are similar things like Google does, like GDSA and those kind of developer conferences. So go for it, make connections. There you can meet like the people in the industry. And when some great conferences are happening, even if in India, Bangalore and all has like a lot of great conferences happening. Go for conferences, build connections, connect with other people in the tech industry, use LinkedIn for expanding your connection. So stay connected with the tech people, so you by looking at their post and their sharing etc, you can stay updated. So that connection is very important. So like step out of your comfort zone and go into like interact with people, and then expand your network, and definitely it will help you a lot.
Definitely, these are the advices that would be very valuable to the students. And with this, we close our today's insightful and valuable discussion with you, Riza. Your practical tips and experience really show how technical writing can make or break the developer experience. And we would be honored to have you today and this evening. And thank you so much for sparing some time and sharing your wisdom with us. I hope that everyone enjoyed the session and got to learn a lot of things. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, bye.
Bye bye.